welcome everybody.
Yeah, how we doing?
Yeah,
We got 4 screens going tonight. We'll welcome John, myself, Anthony, Lauren, and the new Floridian residents.
Oh yeah,
How's that going?
Going well.
it's going well. It was 80 degrees down here all last week.
All right,
80
you're
plus.
done. You're done. You can leave the show now.
Henry, it's second one. Carl's already kicking you out.
That's not why you were invited on.
It's a little chillier this week.
All right, you both can go.
Sorry, it's only 75 this week.
Yeah.
64 right now.
Yeah,
All
but it's
right,
nighttime.
so before we get into the serious stuff, when you logged on and we went live, you said you're where?
We're in the parking lot of Hollywood Studios.
And what? We just night trip over there?
Yeah, we just night trip
over
now.
here. Finish work, go over.
And just hang out for a couple hours and call it a
Yep.
day?
Oh yeah, because we're about an hour away.
Unbelievable.
Nah.
I'm jealous as all get out. So enjoy your stay on this fan's view, because I won't even be inviting you back. John, you want to get us up to date on fantasy football?
Yeah, we're down to our final game. I can't believe it for 2023. It's kind of crazy. We're down to 1 game left, and we're down to 2 people left basically right now. The way it is, it's down to 2 people who's in the run-in for it. We got Liz Adam Crilly, who's in the lead right at the moment with a 95-point lead. She has 8 players left to go. And Henry Russell has
this Henry
I
right
don't think
here.
I heard that right.
yeah,
Henry,
the one down there in the
Henry
bottom
over
that's
there.
got the big smile on his
I don't
face.
think I heard that right.
I never seen him smile so big. He's got 12 points left to go, or 12 players, I'm sorry, left to go with not behind 95 points. So he's got a very good shot at winning because the 4 players that he had that are different last week scored 175 points. So that was with the points being tripled. So
The Russell house is about to get really cold.
right. this week the points are quadrupled. So
Projections are in.
Yep. I would say he's got it locked up unless Emily has some idea of food poisoning a few of the players on the 49ers to that they don't show up, or she's hoping for a 10-7 game maybe. So
We're flying to Philly tomorrow. I'm actually just going to leave them there.
okay. Well, that was part of the thing I was going to say, because obviously Henry didn't read the fine print on this fan's view that he had to live in Pennsylvania to actually win the prize. So
My driver's license still says Pennsylvania, so
yeah, but you're living in. You just said you're living. You
I
just
have
said you're
an
living in
apartment up
Florida.
there still. I have an apartment up there still until February 9th.
Well, unfortunately, February 11th is the game, so you're not going to know until the 11th. So technically, you lose again.
Oh,
You don't even have your rights for Pennsylvania.
Oh,
You're gonna give that guy a heart attack.
It was a write-in from Emily that was the rules.
I don't know. The Jalen Hurts jersey is going to look really nice on my side of the room.
Yeah, well.
All right. Well,
but you haven't won it yet.
yeah. Congrats if you win.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, very good year. It was a great year for everybody. It was we had 72 people played overall throughout the year, so it was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
And we'll be awarding a second prize also, which will be a mystery gift, so that person can expect that. So, Henry, you'll at least get a I don't know, box of animal crackers or something.
Ooh, those sound good.
There you go. Gotta love it.
All right. Is that it on the fantasy football, John?
For right now, yeah, because we're winding down. There's not really a whole lot more to go. But just when we're finishing up with fantasy football, we have time for March Madness coming up soon. So there's never a dull moment here at this Fans View.
And there was one other husband and wife combo that have been dueling it out all year.
Yeah, Carolyn and Randy Bachman have been battling it back and forth, and it's going to come down to this last game here for them. They got Randy's been following behind Carolyn all year long, but he's got 9 players left to go for this week, and Carolyn's only got 6. So he's hoping – he's actually going the other way, Henry. He's hoping for a high-scoring game because that way he might be able to overcome the short amount of points that he was behind Carolyn. So
I'm going to need the final scores audited. Maybe a recount would work. Just to make sure that everything happened above the board, because I heard Henry was cheating.
I heard that too, but we don't know.
Henry, you want to fess up now?
I'm not cheating. Never cheated.
Using his resources.
I use my resources. I use my resources.
So there's resources.
I research.
So that's cheating.
That's not cheating. I use my resources.
You can call it what you want, but it's cheating.
All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Philly sports has hit a little bit of a snag in the road. So we've got. I'm going to throw it over to our 76er correspondent because she researches all the 76er news and. What's the deal with our big guy, Lauren? I'm not hearing very good things.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like his play last night, but Nick Nurse claims that, he said he was good and ready to play and was cleared by medical, so that's why he was out there, but he definitely looked very rusty, super sluggish, and potentially re-injured the knee that he's just coming back from. So definitely not what you want to see, but I was happy with the guys that stepped up. Korkmaz, I don't even think I told you this, had 19 points last night.
Wow.
Yep. Springer got some time, so it's good to see those guys on the bench getting a little bit more time to be able to fill in for that. So
yeah, because Maxey didn't play again either, right?
Right, but I mean, like you said, the team can play without him, but obviously having him makes it a lot easier. So that's concerning down the road as we try to get closer to the playoffs and actually go a little bit further than just the second round this time. But it was kind of inevitable. You knew that at some point, he's kind of too big to not get hurt. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I guess no reports came out today on the MRI results, or at least ones that they don't want to publish. Or has anyone heard anything?
Just right now, he's out tomorrow night.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, haven't heard anything yet as far as
right.
the MRI results. But
so it's an official lower body injury.
Yes.
Yes.
It's what they say in the hockey world.
Yes, specifically his knee.
Yeah. I mean, what's it? We're 10 days away from the All-Star break too, so you'll get some break, a little bit of time there to hopefully rest up as well. So it could be coming at a good time if it's like a two week injury type of thing that he doesn't miss too much time. But yeah, it was a shame to see him and Maxey, with the sprained ankle.
Is that what's wrong with Maxey? A sprained ankle?
That's what I think I heard that they were saying. Yeah, it was a sprained ankle that he was dealing with. So,
okay.
Yeah, we'll see what we'll see what happens there. But
yeah, it's feast or famine, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, but it's we're halfway through a season, with the NBA season, so you want to get through the season because you want to be playing April, May, and June, type of thing. So you're worrying about those games more.
I saw an interesting rumor today about one Jimmy Butler. Anybody else see that?
I did. The Sixers are the second favorite in the betting world to land Jimmy Butler. So that'll be interesting.
I didn't know he was on the block. What's up with Miami? Miami cashing in their chips again?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, because you wouldn't think they'd be getting rid of him otherwise. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, he'd be a nice little fit for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that we ever realized, his full potential when he was here before, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So interesting. Lauren, anything else in the world of the 76ers?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, like John said, it's the middle of the season. Right now you're kind of at that stopping point as the All-Star break comes up. So I don't want to say it was like inevitable that you were going to get an Embiid injury, but you kind of figured one was going to happen. So it's not my favorite thing to see, and it definitely seems to kind of be affecting the team. They went from playing pretty well to now kind of being on a bit of a losing streak. So hopefully they can get it corrected. But, Nick Nurse doesn't seem too concerned. He always says all the right things, and I feel like now more than ever that we've had the right coach in place to make sure the guys don't get too rattled.
Yeah. Anthony, your guy Korkmaz, how does he handle all these playing minutes?
Well, I mean, see, that's what happens when you get some minutes. You can make some points. If you don't get any minutes, you don't make any points. So I feel bad for those guys. It's much like a baseball, utility guy. You're required to go in there once every couple of weeks and get a hit in a big spot. And if you're not getting that repetition, I don't care how good practice is, it's difficult. So it's great to hear that he got 19 points last night. I get it. He's not the best player in the world, so he's not going to be out there every night. But if you can get him in a little bit more here and there, he's going to feel more comfortable.
But I do wonder. He did get 19 points last night, and that has to be a testament to the fact that he has been playing a little bit this year. Because if this was the Doc Rivers era,
he would never got that much.
He wouldn't have had any points last night because he would have been so rusty, and he hadn't been out there because he never played before. So at least he's seen the court, quite a bit this year in comparison.
I don't know. I don't know if it's when he requested to be traded. I don't know if it's his attitude. I mean, when we had him, obviously at the story, he was delightful. He was joking with people. So I don't know. I mean, the last 2-3 years, I thought he wasn't going to be on the team. He's still on the team, and maybe he'll actually get to play now. And maybe he actually enjoys it a little bit. But I say play those guys more. Play Springer a little bit more. Obviously, you can't with the guys. You only have 5 guys. You can only play them so much. But if you can keep rotating them a little bit more. That would help.
Yeah, the new coaches. Gosh, the other night they had 2 guys they brought on the road trip from the G League that played. Now I know at that time they were, I think 4 starters were out, so they were really shorthanded. But you gotta, you kind of gotta like what Nick Nurse is doing. In the absence of his superstar players, playing his entire bench.
It's scary long term. Obviously, you want to make sure that he's not hurt, but it just shows you how important he is to the team. And so, he's got to stay strong for the season. I mean, it's okay to be out now earlier in the season, but you need him as strong as you can possibly have him for the playoffs because you're going to live or die with that guy, with this team. So
I believe, I don't know, a game or 2 ago, Paul Reed had 30 points. That's a career high.
Yeah.
Just got to play the guys. That's all. They know how to play. Let them play.
And that was against Jokic, right? With Denver?
That was the Denver game. Yeah, good point, John. Yes.
With Jokic, yeah.
Like
you said, he likes playing against big guys.
It's nice to see that Nick Nurse is, putting all those different players in so that each night you are hearing a different name, even if Embiid's out. It's not just a guarantee that you're going to lose that game.
Yeah. Yeah. He's finding a way to use the whole bench. there's some guys. I mean, who was it? KC Martin, young draft pick, I believe, from a year or two ago. They're all playing some good minutes. So, I mean, not always in a winning atmosphere, but at least they're getting valuable playing time. And, we'll see how this injury thing plays out. Leg injuries, knee injuries, ankles. They're nagging injuries for basketball players. Well, for any players, really.
Right. Well, Lauren, what did you think of the reports that came out that Embiid played yesterday because he's hearing the noise that everybody's calling him soft, and is what one of the insiders from the team were saying, that he forced his way onto the court because he was hearing all these reports.
I really hope that that's not the case. I hope that the medical staff for the Sixers, I hope that Nick Nurse has a little bit more power than that. Because I believe it, because he's been called soft his whole career. I believe it. But that would be to go out there and risk it for a pretty much nothing game. You're out on the West Coast. You're in the middle of a road trip. I hope that's not the case. But he did play like, a guy that wasn't 100%. So I would say on one hand, it wouldn't surprise me, but I sure hope that that's not the case, because it's going to come back and bite him, because he's already out tomorrow night. And even if the knee injury isn't that bad, there were so many other issues last night when he just sort of like stumbled over his own feet and fell. When that guy kind of kicked him in the head when he lost the ball, there were just other issues that happened last night that just didn't look right. So, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if that's why he came back and played. But I really do hope that the Sixers have a little bit more power than to be able to, say, okay, yeah, sure, sounds good.
Yeah, a lot of things that happen. Like you said, you play and you're trying to compensate for one thing, and then other injuries happen too. Like he gets knocked in the head, he gets the knee hurt again when the guy lands on it. But other little things happen because you're compensating for the one injury.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think
maybe
him that he hears that, though? Like you said, he's been hearing his whole career, oh, he's so soft, he's always on the bench, he's always hurt, or whatever people want to say about him. Do you think that for a player like Embiid, that why would it change now? Why would he force his way in now, knowing that it's still so early in the season?
My guess is that he probably feels more pressure now than ever with the MVP title and with the success that the Sixers have had this season. I think the talks go hand in hand. So on one hand, you've heard how soft he is and how, he's not a leader and he's not a good team player and all this. But then on the flip side, you hear, it finally looks like Embiid's matured. He's finally, sort of reached his basketball peak. This is the season it all comes together. So that sort of feels like the pressure of, I want to keep that up. I want to keep that going. And I want to continue to prove the haters wrong, that I'm not this soft, immature basketball player. So I feel like the two are kind of meeting. And if he chose to play last night, I feel like that's probably the meeting point of those two stories.
Yeah, that, and plus, you got 65 games you got to play to be able to be eligible for the MVP, and he's already missed a bunch already this year, so that could also have something to do with it. But
I don't know. MVP trophy, championship trophy.
You won the championship, exactly.
I'd have a tough time with, with him worrying about one and not the other.
Right. Of course. Yeah. You got to be focused on the championship one first. And if anything else comes about, cool.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on the Sixer front? I one last, we just kind of mentioned it a little bit, and I think, we're overshadowed with Embiid's injury, but has Paul Reed stepped up his game? I mean, is he progressing to the point where, he's better now than he ever has been? Can we expect Can we expect him more in the rotation as the backup center?
Well, depending on how long Embiid's out for, I mean, you could see him as the starting center for.
Yeah, I just see him in who is it?
Bamba.
Morris.
Morris Senior, yeah.
And Bamba. They seem to be all splitting minutes.
Yeah, no, I think it goes to Reed. I think he's proven himself. I mean, as far as compared to last year, he's, much, much better this year. But that comes with experience. That comes, I'm sure having a new coach is helpful. Nick Nurse, like we've talked about before, seems to have such a positive impact on this whole team. So I'm sure, Paul Reed's no exception.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he gets the starting gig. I think for the most part, when Embiid is out, he seems to be kind of the guy that they've gone to.
Right.
I don't think there's any reason for that to change.
All right. Well, good Sixer talk. Appreciate everybody's input. We can move closer to spring training since we have the Floridian folks with us.
I will be over there taking lots of photos for you.
Are you it's probably too early to even ask this question, but I know a few friends that are already down there. Do you guys do you see more traffic? Is it has that begun or?
So we haven't headed over that way yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't headed over that way yet. I mean, hopefully soon we'll travel over there, do like a weekend trip over to St. Pete.
We're going to the first game. February 24th is the opener.
So we're gonna go to that game.
And we'll probably make our way over it that way before then as well. Just last week, lots of unpacking. I don't know that we're the best people to give an opinion on whether or not traffic's increasing because I don't know what traffic looked like before this.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you can take notes because I'll be asking again.
Of course.
I'll start taking notes.
I need some serious Florida road activity. I want to know what's going on. You know what I mean? So
we'll be your scouts.
Now that you're down there, I'm going to use my resources.
Oh, yeah. Got to use the resources when you can.
The interns have to take on a new role.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not letting you off the hook just to go to, where are you at? Hollywood Studios?
Hollywood Studios.
So what does that night include? Like, a beer, ice cream? I mean, a ride on the roller coaster? What the hell is that like on a Wednesday night?
A lot of it's just walking around. We're going to see Phantasmic tonight, which is their nighttime show here. My cousins are in town, so they're actually in the park as well. So we'll catch up.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, hey, feel free to cut yourself loose and go enjoy the night. I mean, I appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit. You did get an honorable mention last week. So, I don't know as far as replacing you, but we're working on it.
That's priority number one, Carl.
Yeah, priority number one.
All right. Well, go have yourself a good time, and we'll check back in with you.
Sounds. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
Good.
See you soon.
Yep. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So let's talk some Phillies baseball because it's funny because just right before we went live, I saw JT Realmuto and Aaron Nola and Nick and Zach Wheeler. They were all over in Disney World today with their families and whatnot. So that's always cool to see. Guys getting in some family time before. I think it's 2 weeks. Before to the day that pitchers and catchers report.
Yep. The 14th is usually the meeting day.
Yep.
So, and I don't know, Dad, if this is on your list to talk about, but is the Philly City Connect jerseys that have been sort of like leaked on the internet, are those real?
It's unconfirmed.
I hope not, because those are horrible.
They're hideous.
So when I first saw them, I wasn't paying attention and I was just, mindlessly scrolling. I thought it was something for the Union.
Yep.
Because they have very similar colors. They have a very similar feel. And then it was somebody's post where it said like Philadelphia City Connect, and I was like, "Get the hell out of here!"
You know what?
They are.
I mean,
horrific.
These look like they very well could be real. Obviously, you can make a fake patch or whatever, and this picture is not the clearest. But
well, I'm not saying they're not real jerseys. I just don't know that the Phillies.
Yeah, I meant is that really the jersey that we get
The
this
Phillies
year?
have not posted anything.
Right.
Nothing's been put out from from Major League Baseball. That reminds me of a jersey, from a couple of years ago, right? When they had the names of the guys on the, their nicknames on the back of the jersey.
The Players Weekend, yep.
Players
the red and blue
Weekend
one
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the City Connect is supposed to be. See, that's why I'm not 100% on that jersey. Maybe that's for something else, because a City Connect jersey, when you look at like I can't name every team, but the Pirates obviously the first one that come to mind. They have the yellow, and then in it there's like the sort of pieces of the bridge in the background, and it kind of makes sense. Looking at this, other than Philly and some weird numbering.
Well, that's supposed to be like the love.
Okay, so they got the Liberty Bell and love on the patch, but other than that, they didn't even try. I mean, there's what the hell's the connection there to sit? I mean, they're going to sell a lot of jerseys to kids. There's going to be a lot of young kids that think that's a cool jersey.
Well,
but I don't see any adults wearing that.
You guys remember a few years ago, I believe it might have been 2010, the Flyers' first outside stadium game.
Yeah.
And they had those awkward looking orange jerseys. I mean, they were, because everybody wanted, everybody wanted the knockoff version. Everybody wanted to be first. Everyone wanted to be like, I told you so, and they were the most hideous looking things as well.
But at least they were orange. I mean, these are like blue and yellow.
But that's the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia flag.
Wow. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, and I guess you got to do a little bit more.
There is so much history in Philadelphia.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of other. Now you got to. They're kind of in a spot. Not that you couldn't figure something out unique, but you're kind of in a spot where the Sixers have done a lot of those jerseys already. So it's like, well, what do you do at some point? You just put a giant Liberty Bell in there. Well, you can't really do that because the Phillies logo has that anyway. But do you put a picture of Ben Franklin? I mean, that's not.
I think, and you can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Major League Baseball has changed up a lot of things contractually with the jersey manufacturer because Nike's no longer involved.
Well, this picture shows Nike on it, so this maybe
is Nike still involved or are they out, John?
No, Nike's the one that took over. Yeah.
Nike took over. Okay, so Majestic is out.
Majestic.
Right. So they did away with the red jersey, and they also did away with the green St. Patrick's Day jersey.
Well, then the Nike, I don't know if it's Nike or Major League Baseball.
You can only have a certain amount.
You can only have a certain amount. So, which is silly.
Especially the green spring training one. I mean, it's not even real anyway.
But that should also be an exception where everyone's allowed to wear green that day if they want to wear green.
Right.
They made so much money from charity, raffling those jerseys off.
It all comes back to money. So give it a year or two and it'll be back. There'll be a green one. Everyone will have a pink one. Everyone will have a blue one for Father's Day. But if that's the jersey, I don't think it looks that great. Now, keep in mind that photo's kind of a little bit blurry. So I'm sure if you put it under the microscope and you could see some different, like when you show that Pirate jersey under the microscope, you kind of saw the bridge, you saw this, you saw that. It kind of looked cool. This one just looks like, I don't know, it feels like kind of like I don't want to say a money grab, but it doesn't seem like they were very creative. I'm
a little confused.
The Sixers have done a lot of jerseys, so maybe they feel like they're running out. Because even the Sixers' latest brotherly love one's okay, but it's not like the first couple. I feel like maybe they think they're running out. I would just go back to like your City Connect is like the maroon one or something. I mean, that's what people like.
Well, the best part of that jersey, if you want to say there's any best parts, is actually the back collar that you won't even see, where it has the city skyline with Philadelphia in it, which people would have thought that would have been the front of the jersey, but maybe they thought it may have looked like more the Sixers jersey from the Boathouse Row.
Yeah, it's funny the way it just dropped today.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody's kind of like, running with it and, not necessarily knowing whether it's legit or not. So,
well, John, we're just looking at that picture. I thought you meant like the back of the jersey on the collar. It's behind here.
Yeah, exactly. It's the back of
the inside.
Yeah, it's on the inside back. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell's the point of that?
Right.
Well, I guess we'll find out in time. But a lot of times that stuff, I want to say, hey, let's wait and see. But a lot of time that stuff comes out and it's usually legit, because that Pirates one came out early and I said, I don't know if people are going to like that. And that became one of the highest sellers. So that might be it. I mean, I don't know why anyone would lie about that all of a sudden on January 30th. Like, what's the point?
Well, Joe Stinger's heading down on Friday, so maybe he can poke around and see, maybe ask a few questions, see what's going on.
When do they make those official? I mean, because the Phillies didn't even have one this past year, so now they have one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I honestly don't know.
You would think it would be right by spring training when they would announce it somewhere around there. But I mean, I didn't think it looked horrible, but it was definitely not something that I was
something that was made in Hong Kong. Joe Stinger said.
I didn't expect it to be that plain, because it is. It's just like,
well, just even the colors. I mean, I guess that you're going to say it's the flag. Well, I don't know what else.
That was a bit of a stretch. I would have never.
I don't know what. I don't know what else is in the flag, but hopefully there's more elements in the flag. Maybe that's the font of the flag. I don't know. I mean,
it's only the blue. It's like that old Eagles helmet is the real. It's not even the real colors of the blue and yellow. It's that old, like that Eagles helmet that they wore for the 100th anniversary.
1933, yellow and blue.
Yeah. I mean, it's real like pale yellow or pale blue. I mean, so.
Did the Phillies have in their logo at one point? I know the Pirates for like 1 or 2 years, or in the early days, they physically changed their whole colors for like a year or two, and people were probably furious and it went back. Did the Phillies have yellow and blue with like a?
They did back in
yellow and blue with a bird.
Back when, John?
In the 40s, they had the blue when they were actually the Blue Jays. Really,
it was like a yellow and blue with a bird. So maybe that's what it's their hat. Maybe the hat's that. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I mean that's really stretching it.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
The fan base wasn't around in the 40s,
right.
So we're not going to know what that is.
Well, when you explain it to them, people will buy it. No matter what it is, people are going to buy it. The other thing about Philadelphia is normally people hate it at first and they eventually embrace it. So hopefully they embrace it, or there's going to be a lot of jerseys in clearance. I don't know what else to tell you.
That looks like a bargain barn if I've ever seen one.
Well, the other thing to mention too is this year, a lot of the teams, just while we're talking about jerseys, a lot of the teams that didn't have logos in the past are now allowed to have logo sponsors on their jerseys. So I haven't seen the Pirates, the Phillies, any team that didn't have one last year. But they've had a whole year to kind of figure that out and make a price or whatever. So I would be shocked if either of those two teams or any other big teams that don't have a logo don't have it on their sleeve this year.
All right. Sorry to totally disrail that.
No, it's a great diversion, because I want to, I didn't have a whole lot of Phillies talk, but I guess the biggest piece of news, in the past couple of weeks was the fact that Rhys Hoskins has signed with the Milwaukee Brewers.
I saw what you did there with the big piece too. That you didn't know big pieces.
What's that?
I saw what you did there with the big piece there, but when you threw that in there.
Come on, you know what I mean?
So, John,
let me get the knife out.
John, question about Rhys Hoskins. So he went to a team that a team that you would think he might go to.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, time out. Were the Brewers ever mentioned?
Well, the Brewers lost their first baseman to the Pirates, and they needed a first baseman. So I thought the Brewers were one of the teams in it that would do it. I thought it would be for 1 year for less money. It's 2 years for more money than I thought. Now, I didn't look at the details. Maybe the incentives increase after the first year to make sure you could still play. But
there is an opt-out after the first year too.
So. Right.
Yeah. Plus, it's a 2-year deal plus an option for a team option for a third year.
Well, and you know what? He might very much excel there. Not that he wasn't doing a
Well,
good
there's
job.
no pressure. There's no pressure.
No, but
right?
they are a playoff team, playoff caliber team.
Right.
So I mean, it's good for him. He got more money than I thought he was going to get, and he got an extra year than I thought he was going to get.
Well, the manager left because the team wasn't committed to spending and taking the next step. Do I have that story correct, John?
I mean, that's the way it kind of seemed because they were ready to trade everybody, and then now they're starting to pull back on that a little bit. I guess they got a little bit of
because he went to the Cubs.
He went to the Cubs council, yeah.
Great counsel. He jumped ship, and I mean, you don't see that very often.
Correct. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, good for Reese.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Because
I think everybody's kind of pissy because of the video that he put out yesterday. And he really wasn't acknowledging. I mean, he was very low key about Philadelphia and the fans and whatnot. I don't think he was totally in love with the fact that they didn't offer him a contract.
Yeah, no, true.
Well,
and Kevin, of course, I would.
I think what choice did the Phillies have ultimately? What are you going to do? Bryce Harper's playing first base. I don't think that's a knock at Reese Hoskins. I just don't think there was room with him because that's where Bryce wants to play. If Bryce Harper was capable or wanted to play right field, then there might be room for Reese Hoskins, but there's not room for him. Man, when you're out a year, it's what have you done for me lately? So,
well, I think the pressure's on this team to win this year.
Oh, well, listen, if they're not going to win this year, you're going to see some not only disgruntled fans, but it's going to almost feel Sixer-esque. You might see some, you don't want to see any of this, but I'm just thinking, issues in the locker room. Those guys are ready to win now. You're Bryce Harper, you're Kyle Schwarber, you're some of these older guys. Yeah, obviously Bowman's thought have a lot more time, but those older guys that are ready and got paid all this big money, you need to win now. You should have won, at least gone to the World Series this past year. I know the year before was very difficult, but you got to win one of these years unless these guys are not going to want to continue playing here.
Yep. Totally agree. So, spring training plans, I know a lot of people are starting to make them. People have been asking me my plans, and, of course I'm going to spring training. I'll set my schedule, but I've already bought, I'm down there for 10 days and I got 5 home games. So that doesn't include a road trip game or 2. And I've said it, and I've said it for years. It's a fun trip. If you're a baseball junkie, if you're a sports fan, you follow the Phillies, it's a great trip. You can do it very economically. You don't have to spend a ton of money, but it's a great trip. The St. Patrick's Day weekend is totally phenomenal. Probably the best weekend of spring training, I think, for all the teams. But I know in Philly, the Delco area, all of Delco is down in Clearwater that weekend. So, it's just a big party. So, looking forward to spring training. Looking forward to the next 2 weeks when the team pitchers and catchers report, and seeing all the players. John brought to my attention, I wasn't aware, but I think Charlie made an appearance at one of the events for, help me out here, John, for the
fantasy camp.
Fantasy camp. I guess they had maybe some dinner or something.
Yeah, it looked like a little dinner. Yeah, it looked like.
And it looked like Charlie made an appearance at that, so it was good to see Chuck back with his baseball brothers. So
exactly.
Hopefully he's doing so much better. We lost, speaking of Chuck, he lost his bench coach. Jimmy Williams passed away this week. 80 years old. I know he's been out to Reading a couple of times when his son Sean coached out there. Am I correct there, Anthony?
Yep.
Is he the first member of the '08 team to pass away?
That's a great question, Lauren. I believe you might be correct.
Well, I just think about like those people who might have like, those '08 team pieces that they're working on that maybe you never had an opportunity to get him and that stuff.
Yeah.
That's rough when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Well, he was at the bottom of the lithograph where all the coaches and Charlie were.
Yep.
And he had been out. To several signings. I know a couple of years ago, I approached him. He was sitting in the stands in the backfield watching the minor league guys, and I went over and reintroduced myself. And he said, "I remember you," because we had him out to the store, and he was very gentlemanlike and just a super baseball guy, super gentleman. Sorry to see him pass, and we lose a piece of our history with these guys. So, but let's move on because we can kill an hour with the best of them. And Eagles talk. Things have been fast and furious over there at the link. New assistant coaches coming, old guys going. John, I know you've got this all documented for wins and losses and analytics with these new hires. What's your thoughts?
I like it. I do like it because like we were talking about earlier, coming into this year, it's a lot of rookie coaches and first time coaches at those positions that they were coaching this year. And say what you want, Kelvin Moore, he's got 5-6 years of play calling under his belt. The defensive guy, he was the guy that was here. Vic Fangio was here last year as an advisory role, and they were hoping to bring him here for this year, but things didn't work out because of Jonathan Gannon. So I mean that's the style of defense that the Eagles like to play. Whether or not it's the right one, I don't know. But we're going to have the head guy that designed this defense doing it. So hopefully that works. But like we've been saying all along, though, I don't know how it's going to mesh though, because Sirianni's been basically just sitting there, right? He's got to just be the rah guy and hopefully keep everybody on board. But what kind of power does he have is really what I want to see.
Well, I think if you want to bring it into layman's terms, he's going to be the school principal, right? Everybody's going to be on time, and everybody's going to report to their position coaches and make sure everything's documented. And I mean, he could very well be suited for this job. You look around the league, and Dan Campbell from the Lions, very much like that. Leaving it to his assistants. I like what they're doing on the defensive side already, bringing in some veteran coaches from out in Seattle. So my biggest question is players, right? You need to upgrade some positions, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, talking Vontae Maddox, they may not be bringing him back. So that's going to open up another spot as well that we weren't expecting. You're going to need, 1 or 2 linebackers because, you see the way the playoffs are going. All 4 of the teams, that played this past weekend have had pretty good linebacker play. Some veteran guys, and some had some rookie guys that are your first year, second year players playing well. But it's an important factor. You're going to need corners, safeties, and it's good. It's going to be hard to fill all those spots. So hopefully Vic Fangio's got his work cut out for him, but it's going to be interesting to see it. Well, I think the guy's name was Hurts. Was it Hurt?
Yeah, Clint Hurts.
Clint Hurts, yeah, for the defensive line. I did like him saying that he doesn't like seeing the big men going backwards, which is hopefully means good things for Hassan Reddick, that he's going to be coming right at the quarterback instead of dropping back. So that hopefully is a good thing. Do you feel like they're going to make enough moves where they're going to be able to be that competitive as they were? I feel like the year was very interesting, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Looked like an entirely different team that second half. You got a lot of older guys that are retiring, and you see how good some of these other teams, the Lions and obviously the teams in the Super Bowl, are. I feel like they're going to have to make a lot of moves to compete like that. I don't know that that's an easy 1-2 filler in and we're good to go again. I feel like it might be a little bit more of a struggle than people think. I agree with you. I do. I think it's basically like this year all over again, right? Because you got all new coordinators and you got new ways of doing things. We started out 10-1, but I don't know that the schedule is going to work out the same way that we're able to do that. And plus, people have figured us out a little bit.
Even if you make some trades, or more specifically, you get some draft picks. I don't know that some of those guys are going to be able to fill those shoes, especially immediately. Jason Kelsey's been there forever. Some of those guys have been there a really, really long time. I don't know that you could just. I'm sure they'll eventually get better, but you saw some of the younger defense guys this year.
All right, so I'm going to throw a wrinkle into this conversation because apparently A.J. Brown was on a sports talk show today.
He was.
And made a comment or two that probably opens up a whole nother can of what the hell is going on, because I'm sorry?
What he said?
There's a lot of talk about him being traded, and his comment came back as, well, I've been traded before.
Well, you know what? I still don't know what happened there at the end. I don't know if we'll ever know what happened there at the end.
Probably not. Probably not, but he's one pissed off individual.
Well, here's the thing, and I mentioned it before that they were out of the playoffs, when we were trying to figure out what was going on there. I don't know that we'll ever know. He might not be – I don't want to say he's in the right, because I don't think he's necessarily in the right. I don't think he's the main reason. I think he's a receiver, right? Receivers get frustrated when they don't get the ball. Receivers get frustrated when they don't win. So I don't think he's necessarily the cause of whatever's going on in that locker room. But by saying things like this, it's frustrating. Now, he's not a James Harden guy. He's not a guy like that who's out of his mind. But it's not, certainly if he does get traded, it doesn't leave a good taste in people's mouths. He's a receiver. He wants to win. So I thought he was a little closer with Jalen. Maybe they sort of moved apart as the year went on. But the guy just wants to win. He's a competitor. I don't want to say I don't hold it against him, but it's not a great teammate thing sort of do. But receivers are generally about themselves, so he's going to want to go somewhere and win.
This is starting to feel like Terrell Owens all over again.
Well, all he had to do was come out today and either not say anything. First of all, he didn't have to go on the podcast. Second of all, he could have said, "Hey, I'm an Eagle. Let the powers that be figure it out." He didn't say either of those things. That doesn't mean he's a bad person. He might just be a dope. I don't know, but that doesn't help in the eyes of the public, who are already kind of mad at him in the first place.
Right. Yeah, John. What are your sources telling you?
Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's a lot. Yeah, well, that's the big thing, Mike. Is he's going to have a big cap hit if he's not here. So, I think it'll.
Yeah, these general managers have a way of playing with numbers and different things, and
oh yeah, no, exactly. I just. I just have it's just going to be an ugly season, I think, this coming year, unfortunately, just because
Well,
of the Sirianni. Just Sirianni being here, I think, is just a wrong thing to have. Just because of the situation. Like you got rid of everybody else except for him.
Well, John, the season's a month old, and we've yet to hear, one critic come forward and point the finger at Sirianni, except for fans and the media.
Well, no, the coaches have. That's why a lot of the offensive coaches are not here anymore, because they're blaming Sirianni and.
Well, they're not blaming anybody because they got fired for not doing their job. You know what I mean? And had they done their job, we'd still be playing football.
Well, I think one of the big reasons it's concerning is, you saw at the end of the year, right? The line was having a very, very tough time holding people. People were getting to Jalen Hurts. They figured it out very, very quickly. So, Jalen Hurts needs to make sure he's not hurt anymore, whatever the hell he's got going on. Make sure he can move and maneuver. If he can't, you better make sure you got the best line of all time, because with Jason Kelce not there anymore and some of these other guys, who knows what's going on, they're going to just keep pounding and blitzing the Eagles. And the Eagles, I don't know that they're going to have a great season unless they figure that out.
No, you're right.
Well, there's plenty of blame to go around. There's certainly enough blame to go around. And the head coach, and I understand what John's saying, and I agree with him. They did bring him back. He's going to be on the hot seat. But I think there's enough pieces and parts there that you can throw a Band-Aid on a lot of these positions until you either draft or trade, for, some legitimate stars.
True.
I don't think you're going from an 11-win season to a 5-win season by no means.
I don't think that either. No.
You know what I mean? And I think, other than the Cowboys in the division, the division sucks.
Right.
So you
but
never know what the Cowboys are up to.
You know
what I mean? So
8 or 9 wins and be competitive and just not be good enough. You know what I mean? Like that feels a little bit more realistic. Now, keep in mind, it's not even February yet, so there's plenty of time. But as of right now, today, they don't look like they're in a very good position.
Well, there's, I think, like we go back to the AJ, not saying anything or saying the wrong thing doesn't help the situation at all.
Right.
So, him, he signed a jersey to Fletcher Cox on the day that they all cleaned out their lockers. Thanks for sharing the field with me. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that means. So,
Well, is Fletcher Cox planning to retire?
He is.
Well, it could be. He hasn't, no one's announced their retirements. So is Fletcher looking for another year? Is Brandon Graham's already said, he wants to come back for another year. Jason sure sounds like he's retiring.
Well, for these guys in their defense, like, other than Brandon Graham, who seems like he just really, really, really likes to play, if you're those other guys, and most of those guys have won something or been there for quite some time, what the hell else? Why would you want to come back to this team right now? It's not like you're going to win next year. Unless you really, really like to play, do you want to really ruin your body or your brain for one more year of this?
Well, you could be Miles Sanders with that mentality and go to Carolina, where how many games did they win? 3?
Yeah.
For some of these guys, especially the ones that, maybe have a year or so left in the tank, they've never played anywhere else. Brandon Graham is not going to go to another team with the hopes of winning. He's been an Eagle his whole life. He's going to stay with the Eagles. Same thing with Lane Johnson. They're not going to go anywhere else. They're going to stay with this team, whether or not next year is a Super Bowl contending team or not. These guys don't know anywhere else. And the idea of being able to go to that right team to win a Super Bowl, I've never quite understood that. Same thing with Claude Giroux when he asked to be traded and off to a Stanley Cup, winning team. That is so hard to pick which team that's going to be. So for these guys to decide in the last year, they're probably careers that they're just going to pick a random one-off team to hopefully go to and land in the right spot. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to put the uniform on every day, and they're going to hope for the best.
Who's the biggest team? Who's the biggest team you have an actual concern of in the division? Because the Dallas seems like they have just as many issues as the Eagles do. The Giants.
The physical NFC or just the division?
No,
the
you're
Eagles are
the
in?
Eagles division. Yeah.
No, the Cowboys are your biggest.
Well, yeah, but they have just. I understand that currently, but they have just as many issues.
Yeah, but they're so
Eagles
unpredictable. That's the problem. They're just as unpredictable as we are. So you play them one time, and you run up the score on them. You play them again, and you can barely get a field goal.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the
Washington,
thing we have with
Washington can't even muster up enough votes to get a coach.
everybody's rejected them. Nobody wants to go there.
Nobody wants to go to Washington. I don't know what the Giants are doing. They're trying to unload a $50 million quarterback that can't play.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the NFC as a whole, my biggest concern will continue to be the 49ers.
right.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to them first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the thing is, you got to remember, no teams won the NFC East in 20 years, back-to-back years. So that means the Eagles are going to win next year.
All right, there we go.
Or the Commanders are going to shock the world.
There you go.
without a head coach.
Yeah.
I heard Carson Wentz is going to get hired as the head coach.
There you go.
You could.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
Speaking of Carson Wentz, I can now put all of my Carter Hart stuff and my Carson Wentz stuff in the back of somebody's trunk and
You got bamboozled. You got bamboozled.
again.
But that's not Carter Hart's fault.
Yeah, but do you think he ever plays in Philadelphia again?
No, I don't think he plays hockey again.
Yeah, so there goes my collection.
Well, at least your collection, not that you don't have a nice collection, but at least the guy.
I got a few other
yeah,
things.
a friend of mine. That's all he has, and
Oh, I didn't even think about Bert.
and I don't know what he's going to do because he's
Have
got.
you talked to Bert since all of this?
No, I don't see him too much in the winter. I can text him about it, but he can't be happy.
He's had to have spent thousands of dollars on Carter Hart cards.
Wow. Yeah.
He went all in with him, and then he was, even when he, before all this happened, and he was not winning games, he was still going all in because he thought, well, it's a good time to go in. Well, Bert,
Buy low, sell high.
so now he's now he's just trying to. He's not going to sell it anyway. He probably still could keep it and still like him. I don't know. That's how Bert is, but
Hey, real quick, because talking Flyers hockey and the only Stanley Cup that's been won in this town, the boys were all back together this weekend, and the reunion looked like a big party. And I know John and Lauren, you guys were there with several members of that team. And how was that? Share a conversation or two.
I mean, they're the best. I wasn't even a thought on this planet when those guys played, but I know their autographs better than anybody else's. I've heard some of the best stories from those guys.
I named them all.
They're just, they're my favorite team. They're my favorite team, championship team. It was funny when they posted the team photo on the ice, I blew it up and I asked Anthony who they were, and even he could name majority of the guys.
I'm going to say let's say there were 10 to 12 guys there. I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I got 10 of
10
of the 12. And the 2 I didn't get is because I wasn't around when they were at the store or something.
Right.
So I didn't know who they were, but I get pretty good on them.
They're such a likable group of guys. From the nicknames, even though some of them you can tell despise the other one, they still just have such a connection and respect for one another. It was cool. It was really cool to just hang out with them, and they all just seemed genuinely excited to see one another. Right. I think that's because they're all getting older, and there are guys who just can't make it back or who have passed away now, so they're not there anymore. So as they get older, I think each of these reunions becomes even more special for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know that you're going to see. I know you talk about guys passing away and what are you going to do after this generation. In general, I don't think there's many teams, other than maybe hockey players in general, maybe some older baseball players, but the Eagles or the Kansas City Royals, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, are you going to be able to get all the players together that are like these guys are taking plane trips from Canada and other parts of the country to be here? I don't know that you see that.
Not for like nothing or next to nothing. No.
Yeah, I mean, current players now are just expecting so much money that they're not going to do it. I don't think.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
No
like
doubt.
Lauren said, it was great hearing all the stories, and you just talking to them, just asking them, who's the one guy you want to, you missed the scene, and it was like everybody, it was like Lauren said, it wasn't like one person, it was just being around everybody, and we were there a little bit later, and they were kind of having like their little banquet hour or cocktail hour, or whatever you want to call it, before going over to their dinner, and just to see everybody interacting with each other and their wives and everything. It was, you almost thought that they were 19, 20 years old again, the way they were acting, just talking stories.
Yeah, what did I read? I read something about a Stanley Cup celebration that they never were able to have and hoist the Stanley Cup together for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure, maybe of the reason, but they were all together, all the ones that traveled back this weekend, because they all seemed so giddy around the Stanley Cup and taking photos and and just the fans storming the ice. Well, there you go. I guess that kind of ruined the celebration for them and doing the whole ritual thing with the Stanley Cup. But it was just great to see, the guys that, like, the Selesky, Kinderchuk, Schultz line and the four fighters, Selesky, Schultz, DuPont, and
Kelly.
Who was
Kelly,
the four of them, holding their fists up around the Stanley Cup. And, like you said, we'll never, I don't know that we'll ever, I'll probably never see another, situation like that. I mean, those guys, it's 50 years.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? It was cool that the Flyers had that picture of those guys when they were younger, the four of them around the cup, I believe, and then kind of reenacting it a little bit.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. And a lot of them brought their wives into town, along with them. And, it was just so cool to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, just the fans that, were all there. And that's all they kept talking about was the fans. And, it was, you got, stories that they're 50 years old, the stories. And it was like they were living them like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The way they were telling them, it was a great time. It brought goosebumps to you when you're hearing them talking, and like Lauren said, they're like just down to earth people. It was like you just.
Well, my story from 1974 was I had just gotten a '64 Chevy convertible, 64 Impala convertible. Just had a brand new convertible top put on it. Went to the parade, and somebody went through the convertible top. I thought my father was going to kill me. Yeah. The first parade, I drove the car down, and wherever I parked it, and people were just acting like idiots.
How did the person go through it? Is what you can't just leave it there. Just that they went.
Well, I wasn't there when it happened.
Oh, okay.
I came back to it. You know what I mean? And I still don't remember how I explained it to Dad. So yeah. Then I went back to the shop in Southwest Philly, where it was done. And the guy goes, what happened? And I'm explaining it to him. And he goes, well, son, I don't think I can repair that.
I'm going to say, was it still under warranty?
Yeah, that was my parade story, but it Wow. Yeah, it's so great to see. And I just saw pictures that Ross Lunsbury's daughter put up. She came into town. We lost, Ross a few years ago. She came into town with her husband and kids and the wife. I thought that was just so cool, to honor her father and be there for that. Just cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just cool stuff. So, good Philly sports moment this past weekend. I hope everybody got to enjoy it. I know I streamed the game on I guess it was on YouTube on Friday night. So that was fun to watch.
Well, next time we see him, we're gonna have to get the stories with Joe Watson. Him skating the last time there.
He looked pretty good. Yeah, he did, but he looked a little wobbly when he first came out.
When he first got on there, he looked like me going on.
Baby. I didn't want to see him go down. That wouldn't have been a good moment.
No, but he was pushing him off like, I got this.
Good for
after
him.
a couple seconds, he's like, it's like riding a bike. I got this. But
how old is Joe Watson? 80 years old?
Yeah. I think it was 81, I think he was saying when he was here.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah, but
Good
he
stuff.
looked great.
Good stuff.
Skating out there, he looked good.
Yep.
Got a nice standing ovation as well going out there. So
another great show for this fan's view. It was great to see Emily and Henry. I didn't get to mention to Henry, he got a couple of new toys. He got a grill. He got a golf cart. He seems to be enjoying the Florida life so far.
Yeah, exactly.
So good for them. Hope they're enjoying Hollywood Studios tonight. And thank you guys for sharing in all of Philly sports. We certainly had enough to cover an hour, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We didn't even get to the Super Bowl.
We did not. And we'll be at Hanrahan's Irish Pub next week. But we can get some picks. But anybody want to offer up their pick?
It'll be the Chiefs. I mean, I don't feel like they want the Chiefs to win. You want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Chiefs. That's how it is.
I hope so.
Does Travis go down on one knee and propose?
No. That's what they said. But I think if he wins the Super Bowl, I think him and Jason retire together.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
I could see that happening. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they'll be the next, Peyton and Eli. They're already on every commercial. They'll be doing everything.
And I hope for everybody who gets so annoyed that she gets a little bit of airtime, that the NFL does their own little streaming video of her just down in the corner so she can be seen at every moment of the entire game.
The funny thing was, they said the last game was like 44 seconds was that's all that she was on the air for, all this time that she's getting. I mean,
that's because Jason took it all away up in Buffalo, taking his shirt off and
yeah,
incredible individual. And just think, we got him in Havertown.
Oh yeah. I unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to agree. I think the Chiefs are going to end up winning it. And until you see Mahomes lose, you just can't take it out of his, away from him. And
I don't think that's in his DNA, John.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's
he's like Brady. He finds a way to win.
Right.
But I also go back to what I said earlier, where the 49ers just always seem to be in the way with the Eagles, that I don't.
Oh yeah, no,
they're holding the grudge, huh?
I don't want them winning. But I will say, I do think it's funny. I mean, we lost to the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl, yet I feel like because of this bond between Jason and Travis, that even though we should despise the Chiefs, because what other team? I mean, we hate the Yankees because we lost in 2009. We hate the Blackhawks because they lost against the Flyers. Like, every team we've lost against, we hate. But for some reason, we have this love for the Chiefs. And I think it's absolutely related to the whole Jason and Travis thing.
Well, that, and plus you got Big Red is there as well. That he was here. So I mean,
Why couldn't he coach like that when he was here with the Eagles?
He didn't have Patrick Mahomes.
exactly. He didn't have a Mahomes on his team. We had McNabb.
No love for 5. Come on.
No, I mean five was a good quarterback, but it was it's not no shot there. It's just
He's no Patty Mahomes.
right. Exactly. That's the difference.
He's no Patty Mahomes. That's for damn sure.
Not many quarterbacks can move like that a few years back.
Jalen used to.
Jalen used to, but I don't know if he's walking anymore.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Is that a parting shot?
Well, I'm just saying he used to move like that too, but not anymore.
Well,
I got a funny feeling we're gonna be talking about this all off season. So
Oh yeah, no, it's true. I mean, and like I said, hopefully it's a brighter outlook than I'm thinking right at the moment. But I don't know. I think this could be an ugly year for the Eagles.
So, Dad, are you going for the Chiefs or the Niners?
Oh, definitely the Chiefs.
Okay.
Definitely. I cannot. No, the 49ers just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I think if the Lions were in it, entire America would be rooting for the Lions, but it's a different story now. So
yeah, well, that would be the super underdog kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
that's a shame.
For sure.
But if the Chiefs don't win, whatever. It's my favorite kind of Super Bowl. One I not have to worry about.
Right.
There you go.
Well, I guess the bigger question is Taylor Swift and Usher going to do anything at halftime?
Nah.
I tell you,
For 4 straight concerts in Tokyo the day before the Super Bowl. So she'll be half dead.
generally the stuff that they talk about Taylor Swift doing, because there's always type of predictions,
Yeah.
0%. You got to understand, she's literally the biggest star in the world. She's not doing Super Bowl halftime. She's like above that unless you have so much money.
Mm-hmm.
Unless she feels like she's in a good mood and wants to do 2 minutes with Usher, she just wants to relax up there and not be bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah, she performs in Tokyo Saturday night.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't realize
But
that.
because they're 17 hours ahead of us, she makes up all that time coming back.
Right.
So she
Yep.
actually gets to Vegas Sunday morning.
She be snoozed.
But yeah, 4 straight shows, and her concerts are like 4 hours long.
Oh yeah, that's what they say.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're This Fan's View, and you can find us next Wednesday night at Hanrahan's Irish Pub with a couple former Eagles, Kevin Riley and Jerry Fury. Sure, they got some great stories, especially Jerry Fury being the center for Randall Cunningham.
Oh yeah.
So that should be interesting. We've worked with Kevin in the past, so we'll get their Super Bowl predictions, and yeah, you never know. You never know. So we're looking forward to a great show over in Delco. So if you're local and you can make it, come on out. And thanks to everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, City Distilling. They're doing great things, and we're so excited for them. So,
Yes.
And City Distilling, just for the record, will be back better than ever at the Reading Phils this year. If anyone,
nice,
Woohoo!
nice.
Very cool.
So that's,
City Sips, the official post-game sponsor.
the City Sips did very well at the stadium. I think everyone was happy. So
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Do we get
Yeah.
the same flavors?
I don't know. We'll find that out.
All right.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Sounds good.
Guys, thank you. I'll see everybody soon.
Sounds good.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too.